Day. 3 members of the Park County Sheriff's Office gunned down while serving an eviction notice. A 12-year veteran of the department killed, his 2 colleagues wounded. The man responsible for shooting all 3 also found dead. Thanks for joining us today at 5. I'm Deborah Takahara.
I'm Jeremy Howard. This is a story we've been covering all day right here on TV, on our website, and on our app. And right now, authorities are about to begin a news conference. In fact, they just have. This is Susan Medina from the CBI. Let's listen in.
Events have been unfolding all throughout the day, but we appreciate that you've been here and been very patient with us as we've tried to sort out this information. So we about ready to go? Okay, all right. So this is our updated press briefing for the day with regard to the Park County Sheriff's Office deputies who were shot this day. As we talked about earlier, we were hoping that Sheriff Wagner was going to be able to join us. He's had a lot on his plate, obviously, this day. He has spent the majority of it at the hospital with the family of one of the members of his agency that was in surgery for most of the afternoon, and with the family of the other deputy who was transported to St. Anthony's for treatment. He wanted to stay with that family, both families by their side throughout the entire afternoon. That was his priority. And as we move forward through the day and into the evening, he's going to come back up the mountain. He's going to meet with his team here and do some other things to really take care of each other. So while he wanted to be here, he wanted me to express that, why he isn't, and also share his thoughts of thanks and great pride for this community. It's been a tremendous outpouring of support and truly love, and we greatly appreciate that, especially the sheriff. So that's why friends are here. We're hoping the sheriff will make comments at some point. It won't be today and it won't be tonight, but we'll really stay with that piece. As you know, a news release was recently sent out by the Park County Sheriff's Office. That news release detailed the events of the day, listed those members of the Park County Sheriff's Office who were shot, and it also provided a little bit of an update from the sheriff himself. If you don't have access to that information, you can find it on the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office Facebook site. The CBI is pushing that information out through its listserv, and then Park County has also sent that out. So there are a lot of opportunities to get the latest information. Before we provide an update on this case, I wanted to talk a little bit about Corporal Nate Kerrigan. So I don't profess to be able to share the stories that are going to be released about Nate and what he's meant to this community and what he's done to help everyone around him. What I do know is that he served his community in a superior way, and he made the ultimate sacrifice today in his service to that community. And as we go into the evening and we're doing things with our families, we just ask that you keep Nate and his entire family in your thoughts and in your prayers. Turn on your porch lights. Talk about Nate. Talk about all the wonderful things that our law enforcement officers are doing on the streets of our country each and every day. So the sheriff will definitely talk more about Nate and what he's meant to this community. It's just not my job to do that right now because I just couldn't begin to capture that. That I can't confirm, and we'll go into questions here in just a minute. Let's go a little bit further into the briefing. I do have an update on the conditions of the others who were shot and injured during the course of this incident today. Master Patrol Deputy Colby Martin, he was transported to St. Anthony's with life-threatening injuries, was in surgery for most of the afternoon. He is in critical condition. That is the report from the hospital at this time. I'm very happy to report that Captain Mark Hancock, he was also treated at St. Anthony's, and he has since been released. So he has been released from the hospital and is being with his family at this point. An update on the case. Earlier today, as you know, the Park County Sheriff's Office requested the assistance of the Colorado Bureau of Investigation to process this scene and to conduct the investigation with the help of the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office and, of course, Park County. With the CBI, we're looking at about 100 people who have responded to this area to unravel this very comprehensive scene up at the house. So they're working steadily throughout the afternoon, and they're going to go deep into the night, long after the sun sets, to process as much of this area as they can. And they'll keep coming back to the scene until it is processed as completely as possible and as professionally as our people are trained to do. So in the news release, the suspect's name was released. I think you all have that. I know there are a lot of questions in connection with the suspect. Unfortunately, at this time, we are still vetting out this information. We know there are a lot of rumors and chatter and things of that nature, but we just can't make any specific comments about his background or what that may involve. So we are going to keep processing that, learning more we can, and when we do have information, we'll be certain to provide that.
Can you talk about what the priority is from, let's say, from now until morning? I mean, you talk about processing the scene. What specifically does that entail?
So the question is, what is the priority tonight? We talk about processing the scene. That means we have our crime scene vehicle up in that area, any number of agents and investigators. So the effort is to really understand what happened. So they're going to conduct a number of interviews. They're going to collect evidence. They're going to canvass the neighborhood. They're going to do what they can to really build that complete picture that relays what took place today. You had a question? Did you have? I'm sorry. I thought we had that earlier. Julie.
Respondent was called earlier, and SWAT teams there. Do you know, did they find anything to indicate there was anything dangerous to the rest of the community in the house?
So the question is that there was a bomb squad and the SWAT team were called out to the scene. They have since cleared, all is well, and they were called out in an abundance of caution. With that many people responding to the scene, we just wanted to make sure everyone was safe.
If this was a standard eviction, why were there Park County detectives on the scene?
You know, I don't know the exact players. The question is, why were detectives there? I don't know the exact players who responded to the scene. I just know that there was a team that went in to take care of this eviction process. As for why they were there and, you know, deeper into the elements of what happened, I just can't comment on that at this time. Pardon?
What did you know? What did the officers know beforehand that led them to say it's a high risk?
Right. So the question is, what did the officers know that this was a high-risk situation? You know, they had background information about the suspect in this case, but we're just not going to talk about it this time. We really have to vet this thoroughly and make sure we have a clear understanding what's going on.
Is that why they had medical on standby also near the scene?
You know, I'm not sure about the protocols for the Park County Sheriff's Office, so I don't have that information for you. I don't have that information for you at this time.
Susan, I know that other law enforcement has been providing support. Tell me, I mean, obviously, it's horrible due to the department. Who's helping? I mean, you have regular duties on.
Right. So who's been assisting Park County today? To say there's been a massive outpouring of support from law enforcement across the state is really an understatement. It is what I've seen just being at the substation, a number of officers coming and going wearing different patches, and I don't have the list of them, but I can certainly get that for you. People bringing food. We've had people simply stop by saying, we're thinking about you, I'm so sorry. We've seen this community before, and they rally, and to see the state law enforcement coming together to provide that assistance as well is truly remarkable. As for processing that scene specifically, right now it's CBI with the assistance of the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office along with the Park County Sheriff's Office.
Right there we have Susan Medina from the CBI laying out some of the events of what happened today and giving us an update a bit more on Corporal Nate Kerrigan, the veteran deputy who was killed up there today. She said that he was serving his community in a superior way. She also gave us some updates on the others who were injured. Deputy Colby Martin, critical condition, spent the day in surgery, life-threatening injuries. Captain Mark Hancock treated and released, so that's good.
And the sheriff in the hospital with them, expecting to hear from him maybe later tonight. But he did want to spend time with the families and with the deputy that is going through surgery. Right
Susan Medina said that his plan was to spend more time at the hospital with them and then get back up to Park County and help his department cope. Obviously, a tough day for them.
Yeah, well, our own Julie Hayden has been on the scene in what has been a very difficult day. She is joining us now from Park County with more on the timeline of events that happened today.
Yeah, Deb, from what we know, this whole thing started about 9:30 this morning when the three deputies went to serve the eviction notices. If you heard earlier the questioning, it was called a high-risk eviction notice. The sheriff himself was about to join them. We're told late this afternoon that what happened is the suspect, Martin Wirth, initially came out on the balcony, saw them, then went back inside. The officers followed him inside, and apparently that's when he pulled out the rifle and opened fire. And here's what we know from the earlier news conference that they held.
It's a tragic day. A Park County Sheriff's deputy has lost his life today.
Corporal Nate Kerrigan, a 10-year veteran of the Park County Sheriff's Department, was shot and killed when he and 2 other deputies went to serve an eviction notice on a Bailey home. Investigators say there was some brief interaction, and then the suspect pulled out a rifle.
When they were confronted by a subject who was armed, the subject fired.
Investigators say the 2 other deputies were also shot, one seriously. They returned fire, killing the suspect, 59-year-old Martin Wirth. He'd been embroiled in a long-standing eviction battle, and there are indications he'd had run-ins with law enforcement before, but nothing violent. SWAT teams and bomb squads searched the home in the Friendship Ranch subdivision. Law enforcement agencies from around the country posted pictures of a thin blue line across a badge, sharing their condolences with Park County. The sheriff waited at the hospital with the injured deputies' families.
It is a dark day, and he would ask for prayers and thoughts and just focusing everything you have on support of the Park County Sheriff's Office.
Now we're told that the sheriff remains at the hospital. He's there with Deputy Colby Martin. He was shot multiple times in the lower extremities, has been in surgery most of the day, and you heard Susan Medina earlier say remains in critical condition. The other deputy, Captain Mark Hancock, he just was grazed by a bullet. Apparently he has been treated and released, and he is going to be okay. Obviously this story continues to develop. They're just going in now, completing the search warrant or executing the search warrant at the house. A lot of things still going on, and we will keep you posted with any new information if it becomes available. In Park County, Julie Hayden, Fox 31 Denver.
All right, thank you, Julie. And the shooting obviously raising a lot of questions about the gunman and why he felt it necessary to take such drastic measures in his fight against being evicted. Fox 31 Denver's Justin Joseph is covering that angle for us, and he's live near the scene in Bailey with what he has uncovered today. Justin?
Well, Deb, as you know, you heard Susan Medina talk about this from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. They are sort of processing the crime scene out here. We've been out here in the Bailey neighborhood for, the better part of 6 or 7 hours at this point, and I can tell you what's happened is it started with a wait-and-see attitude. If you look up the hill here, you can see this cabin with the trailer in front of it. That's Martin Wirth's residence. Earlier today, around 11 a.m., they had deputies surrounding that, but they were not going inside because they were waiting for a search warrant to get access to the premises. Then around 2 o'clock, dramatic movement here at the property is at least 10 SWAT vehicles with members of the bomb squad as well as ATF and canines converged on this property to make it clear that it was safe. They were planning to go in at that point. We were told about an hour ago that they did secure the premises, and then in about 15 minutes ago, we've seen about 25 to 30 deputies going inside Martin Wirth's residence. At this point, we believe that they are essentially executing their search warrant to see exactly what they are dealing with inside. But as you said, it's been a difficult day out of here. We've had a number of different jurisdictions that have responded to help. All of the officers have a dreary look on their face, and they say at this point they want to do their best job for those deputies that were injured and the one that was killed out here earlier today. Reporting live in Bailey, Justin Joseph, Fox 31.
All right, Justin, thank you. Of course, there's a lot of concern right now for the 2 other deputies also shot while serving this eviction notice up there. Fox 31 Denver's Tammy Veal live at the hospital St. Anthony's in Lakewood where the men were taken with an update on all that. Tammy?
Jeremy, the more seriously injured officer, Colby Martin, was airlifted here with life-threatening injuries. The second officer, Mark Hancock, was brought here by ambulance. We're learning some information about Hancock through his and his daughter's Facebook pages.
It's Mark Hancock. I've been challenged for the ICE challenge by Fred Wagner, the sheriff. Luke and I are going to accept that challenge.
Back in 2014, Mark Hancock, a patrol captain and SWAT commander at the Park County Sheriff's Office, took part in an ice bucket challenge. His 2 daughters, Rachel and Rebecca, updated their profile pictures with the Park County Sheriff's badge with the signature black tape across it that symbolizes the mourning of a fallen officer. One friend writes, "Becca, thinking about you and your dad and family." Mark Hancock has been with the Sheriff's Office for 21 years. His Facebook page shows him as a family man, an avid hunter, and a coach with the Platte Canyon High School football team. County for 11 years. He was shot multiple times in his lower extremities. His condition is critical tonight. While Hancock was grazed in the ear, treated, and released. We'll bring you any new updates at KDVR.com. In Lakewood, Tammy Vigil, Fox 31 Denver.
All right, thanks, Tammy. And the outpouring of tributes on Facebook for Corporal Nate Kerrigan has been overwhelming. Fox 31 Denver's Mike Mars has been following that story on social media this afternoon. Mike?
Yeah, as you can imagine, condolences pouring in from friends on Facebook. And this is actually here as we take a look at monitoring Corporal Kerrigan's page. And this is actually from a previous police shooting. Now, his friends are also sharing that same look with the black tape draped across the badge. This is from Kimberly Renee in memoriam for, Corporal Nate Kerrigan. And of course, this one right here from Megan Brenneman, talking about the police lives matter, talking about these recent string of police shootings. And this one maybe says it best. Dennis Smith says, "I'm at a loss for words. God be with them and their families. Let's all say a prayer. I can't believe this. This is the badge that I used to wear. I just can't believe this. Enough is enough. Something has to happen. The president needs to address the killing of police officers. Something needs to be done." Now, this is the 14th police shooting in just the past 3 months. We'll have more on this tonight at 9 on Fox 31 Denver.
All right, thanks, Mike. And Fox 31 Denver has been on top of this story from the beginning, on air, online, and on social media. Right now at KDVR.com, profiles of the gunman Martin Wirth, the deputy he killed, Nate Kerrigan, along with pictures from the scene of the shooting. We have also started a tribute to Corporal Kerrigan on our Facebook page, so feel free to go there and offer your condolences to him and his family and his fellow deputies.
And speaking of law enforcement officers shot, new developments tonight involving a man accused of shooting 9 people at a Planned Parenthood